This is the League Fantasy Football Podcast with your host, KY Jelly. What is up, everyone? It's me, KY Jelly. I'm starting this podcast for the League. Last year, we had some videos that we did for the League that everybody really enjoyed, so I'm going to start the podcast for this League. Basically, we're going to be going over the league history in this episode and the story and creation of this league back in 2014. But some of the episodes we'll see in the future will be the draft preview show that I'll be doing, and I'll probably mix in some interviews with a couple of the owners here. And then after the draft, we're going to do a draft recap show, and I'm going to give my draft rankings and best picks compared to the ADP of the fantasy players. And then we'll do in-season stats and game reviews, and we'll have interviews with each owner as they get ready to face a big opponent in a big rivalry game. We'll be going over that game with each owner. So that's just some of the stuff we have to look forward to. But I wanted to say welcome to the podcast. I hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to start off by talking about the Zoom meeting that we had. We had the league Zoom meeting. 10 out of 12 owners were present. Levi and Thomas, where were you, Levi? I saw you playing Fortnite the night of the meeting, but it's okay. So yeah, we had the State of the League address hosted by our commish, Taylor Davis, who had some technical difficulties, but we won't talk about that and his trash internet. We won't discuss that here in this podcast, maybe in another one. But the State of the League address went really well. We nailed down some details of the league. I'll be sharing some of those details later. But right now, I just want to talk about the league history. So as I brought up in the group chat, trying to rename the league, but for right now we're stuck with the League Fantasy Football League, which is sort of fitting because back in 2014 we all watched the league together, all 6 members, and that league started in 2014. So our initial members of the 2014 league were Don the Black Man Watson. He was heading up the team Beckham, the Hands of God. I guess he had Odell Beckham back in the day when he was actually worth something. I was heading up the Furbinators, the Facilitators. I believe the Facilitators was Taylor Davis. I could be mistaken, our current commissioner. Team Undefeated 72. We can guess who that is, Mr. Biko Ormy Shepherd. Somewhere over Dwayne Bowe, that was probably Malcolm. The Chiefs probably had Dwayne Bowe, or it was a reference to a Dwayne Bowe joke there. But back in the 2014 league year, Don Watson came away victorious as our first ever championship. However, this championship, like his current NFL teams championships, has an asterisk next to it. It was a 6-man league. I don't know if we can honestly count that as a fantasy championship, but he claims it, so he has that going for him. And the 2015 season, I guess we couldn't get the league back together, so we skipped that year. No champion, no standings that year. 2016 was our first legitimate year. Don won't say that, but it is our first legitimate year. We had 8 members, which is still low for fantasy football nowadays. And surprisingly enough, after all the hell that he catches, Biko won the championship that year with a record of 7-6. That year was crazy. The best record was Don, 8-5, but he finished 4th, failed to even get into the championship game. Biko knocked off Joey that year. And then we had 2017, which saw our first year with 10 members, so every year we're growing as a league. So 2017 was a really weird year because Don finished last. That's not surprising. But Kevin He was owning the Crocs and Socks fantasy football team, a 7-5 record, ends up taking home the championship, defeating, yes, me, the KY Jellies, who had an 11-1 record going into the championship game and got knocked off by Crocs and Socks. Then 2018, our first year with 12 members, which is where we stand today. Thomas and EDFF ended up winning the championship, beating Micah and the Orangutan Titties. And those were the two best teams that year. In 2018, Thomas had a record of 9-3, Micah 10-2, but he ended up losing in the championship game. And then 2019, last year, I think we all know, I'm letting everybody know what happened last year, and because you never know, man, you never know when you will get the top spot again. Don got it the first year, 2014, and he hasn't sniffed it since. So you got to be a little braggadocious whenever you get into that top spot. It felt good, still feels good. It's gonna feel good this whole year until I repeat or somebody takes the crown from me, and that's just the way it is, guys. But yeah, 2019, I knocked off Vetoed. Second place, he claims that if his trade would have went through, that he would have had a legitimate shot at winning the championship. But no, as it stands, I'm your champion. That's a little bit of the league history and how this league broke down over the years from 2014 until now. And entering this year, I'm excited. I know y'all are pretty excited too. Everybody wants to knock the champion off. Levi started the hashtag in the group, anybody but Kyle, or something to that effect. But yeah, I feel like our leadership is in a great spot this year. We got TD 2020 leading the group. And then after that, you got myself. I led the State of the League address task force. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see the draft. As you know, this year it's at Dave & Buster's. And I think the idea to determine the draft order was a pretty good one. So we're going to either do a $5 or $10 limit on the Dave & Buster's card, and then we're going to basically have like an arcade Olympics, so who can get the most tickets when their $10, $5 is up, which is pretty cool. I think that there's a couple different strategies in that, but I won't go into that as I'm trying to have the best draft position possible. But it's a great idea, and we're all really looking forward to that. I know I am. In the draft, it's always full of shenanigans and jokes and people making bad picks. Malcolm, sleeper pick, Marcus Lattimore, which can't wait to wear the jersey. That is going to be awesome. I'm going to put that sucker on everywhere I go. So thank you to Malcolm for creating that awesome trophy for the winner of the league. And of course we have the loser of the league this year, which will have to endure 24 hours at Waffle House, subtracting an hour from his time from every waffle that he eats. Pretty cool idea. So we're going to kick that off probably around the end of November, early December. So that is something that everybody in the league is looking forward to. I'm sure there will be some trash talking going on with that. But yeah, we're going to wrap up our first episode here of the league history and the league creation story. I hope y'all enjoyed it. There will be many more podcasts in the future, so stay tuned. And y'all suck. I won. Get over it. It's a new year. It's time for the two-peat. And as always, I hope that your quarterback retires after you draft him, or you draft somebody with a chronic knee issue in the third round, or you just draft a bust. Your champ out.